they reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I was like, why would I ever say no?"
Hi, all, and welcome to another episode of the Win and In podcast. Today, finally, we get my co host Gabe back in.
Woo!
He's here. And then our guest of honor today is Breezy, a very renowned Twitter, I don't know, you have a huge Twitter thing of Flesh and Blood, but you might know him from his articles or his YouTube page. So we're going to talk all about that as well. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing well. I'm set up in my daughter's room because it's a little late, and she's sleeping in my bed right now. So
Nice.
we'll figure out how I'm doing here in like an hour if I'm able to sleep properly or not.
Fair
So yeah,
enough. Okay.
Dedication. I love it. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
let's do it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. How you doing, Gabe? It's been a minute.
Oh man, I've missed this. I missed you all. I missed the lovely people. Doing great. We were gone on that hiatus, getting married, so that's pretty exciting. Love that. And then
Congratulations.
Oh, okay.
so that
Yeah,
just took
worth it. Definitely
yeah,
worth it.
definitely worth it. Definitely sweet. But now we're back at the grind, and we're pumped.
All right.
Nice.
Well, cool. All right. So let's just get right into it. This last weekend, just like every weekend before, it's been super fun with Flesh and Blood
Mhm.
recently because every weekend we got a Battle Hard Nora calling, and this last weekend was no exception. We had Battle Hard in Hong Kong, which was a Blitz Battle Hardened, and where we saw Chain take the event. Let's see, let me get a name here. Okay. I am so sorry if I mispronounced this. Xing Sang. Uh, we're gonna go with that. Anyways, Chain winning the event. It was a Chain mirroring the end, no less.
Mhm.
So 3 Chains making top 8. Seems like Chain is really showing his presence in the Blitz format.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Like
He's a
we've always
beast.
seen.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But it still looks pretty open. I mean, we saw the familiar Kano in there, but we saw a couple
which
Iras, so I'm pretty cool.
I mean,
I'm pretty happy about Ira.
I got to make an interjection if we're talking about those Kanos. Did you
Okay.
see the armor that they're running for the Kano lists?
Oh, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the frontline gauntlets
I
and
didn't
frontline
see.
plating in the both of the
Hmm.
semifinals Kanos.
Yeah,
Or one semifinal, one
Interesting.
top 8.
yeah. I wonder if that's for Benji. It's the only one I can think of, but is like Benji such a presence? I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know. I figured I'd put it out there and have you tell me how it works, but that sounds great.
That's the new one, right? That's the new
Yeah,
That is the
equipment.
new one. Yeah,
Yeah, which gets a counter on it at the end of your
let's
turn,
start.
right?
Yep, exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, it's almost just like free. And I've thought about that too. I've even speculated. I'm like, dude, what if you just run full frontline and just full block 8, like right out of the gate? But it's too easy for your opponent to be like, Arsenal pass.
Right,
Like,
yeah. That's the thing. Like, you look like, oh, you're running front line. I'll just wait.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'll
we'll
just
set
let that die out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't know, you can get those much easier as a cold foil than you could with iron rot, equipment, but
hmm
feels
Yep.
like iron rot would be the way. I don't know. That's
Oh man,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's funny. Also, Dance of Darkness, we saw those in the chains list, so I thought that was cool.
yeah,
I don't know if
that's
you noticed
making a
Mhm.
that.
good round. Yeah. Breezy, what do you play in Blitz? What's your preferred hero?
Yeah. Well, with Vincent, I've been really
Mm,
tinkering with
nice.
Vincent a lot, and but just because I play Runeblade, I mean, I think that's just obvious. I stepped away from Chain a long time ago, just because I don't know, everyone was on him, and I was really tired of the mirrors.
That's fair.
Um, and so in like Blitz, true Blitz, like if I didn't have Vincent and I kind of dropped Chain, it's mostly Reinar. Like I just love his potential to
Yes.
just bring you down to like 2 and turn 0 and just
Maybe that's
blow
what the
out.
front line is for, is to prevent that
Could be,
that
yeah, that like
triple
turn
intimidate.
0 blood rush. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's not
Yeah.
that's
Which great into wizards, tons of pitch, and
yep,
so it
yep.
just always felt like the comfort pick for me, especially as that was like almost, I think it was Katsu and Reinar were like the 2 first heroes I picked up. So
Cool.
it's just kind of a no brainer when I jump into with Blitz with Reinar.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ragnar is a ton of fun and is in a very good spot in Blitz because of the reason like you just said, great into Kano. Can just kind of
Hmm.
do almost like Kano type things with like a Blood Rush battle turn where it's just I kill you in one turn sort of deal. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
no top 8 from him, but we've seen some success quite a bit from him throughout the other battle hards and some skirmishes. So he's doing really good right now for sure.
Hmm.
How about you,
Yeah,
Gabe?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, my last thing
Yeah.
is like, I don't necessarily, I play like, it's like 80-20. I play like primarily to have fun, and
Okay.
then the 20% is like, it'd be cool to win,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
But yeah, it seems like if you want to win, it's Chain, or like even Kasai has been blowing stuff up lately.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's another reason. Just let me clarify. I do enjoy I do enjoy Chain. It's just I prefer to have fun rather than
Oh,
win
dude.
sometimes.
Yeah.
That's
So
all. Yeah,
Definitely.
all that matters is having fun. No, I
The
feel that.
skirmish
yeah,
season, play Rhinar. Battleharn,
yeah,
play Chain. That's what we're
right.
saying,
See,
right?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
you got to know when to put the hat on and take it off. Exactly, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, Eric, got the same boat. I just like playing the fun decks for Blitz for sure. Reinar is probably one of the most fun ones. That's what I was like bringing when I'm really going in to have fun. Or KO for really feeling wild and on that lucky side of things.
Yeah.
Even
That
if
is
we're I
definitely
don't
fun,
Are you the
Rhinar.
KO I played? Are you the KO I played on Talishar like 2 nights ago?
I don't know. Did it say ski bus on it? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, because I'd never played a KO, and someone like got me down to 1 on KO. I was like, dude, oh my god, this is terrifying. Like,
The
this
other night
person
I was
knows what
playing a
they're
lot of
doing.
games of KO, but I don't know. It's fun
Could have
deck.
been.
Could have been
Yeah,
different
yeah.
life. Yes. No, I guess I don't necessarily have a very competitive blitz like in me
Yeah.
where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go win this event. I've never practiced that hard on blitz because I've never had necessarily opportunities. I think the only last time was when we went to Dallas for that battle hard and with Oldham, but that was
Mm.
a
Right.
while
That was
back when.
way long time ago.
I think New
Yeah.
Prism's a lot of fun too, but that's all I know.
Someone did get
Yeah.
first with New Prism.
Mm-hmm.
They got a list up there for it. But yeah, to y'all's point, I think Blitz is generally the more more casual of the two formats. It's definitely the format that a lot of the newer players tend to flock to first. Understandable reasons. It's much easier to get into, faster gameplay, and even cheaper in some aspects.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the way to do it. Honestly, whenever I wanted to just kind of take a break from competitive, Blitz is the format. So
Yeah, definitely.
all right.
I don't know, Eric. What about you? I see a couple Iras did well. I know we've been maybe thinking about Ira. What's our
I
section
do like Ira. I like the concept of Ira just being the closest to control as it comes to Blitz right now. I guess there is Yoji, but speaking on a competitive, if I want to do the casual
Yeah.
level, I might do Yoji. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think Ira's
Ira's
fun.
just she's so tough, man. Yeah, because like especially the control build where you can just literally keep a blue pitch, have like a CNC and Arsenal,
Yeah.
Kodachi and CNC for 7. Just like, dude, it's ridiculous. It's just so much disruption off of just so little, and she's been there literally like as the poster child of like learn how to play this game.
Right.
Also win almost every
Yeah,
big tournament.
exactly.
It's like it's crazy.
yeah, consistency is big. Probably Ira there. But I did play Reinhardt the other night. Went undefeated, and it was a blast. And it seemed like when you're really going, it seems like a deck that just can't get beat. I mean,
Yeah, you're like apologizing to your opponent by like like the third or fourth game. You're like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna.
I like faced a dash, and my chain was wider than hers, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I guess Reinhardt just
That feels
booga boogas sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Blitz is in a good spot. We're seeing these I'm actually stoked that we're getting more coverage of Battle Hardened
Mhm.
Blitz. I would even like a calling Blitz, to be honest. I think that's a great format to get more coverage on. And so I'm glad to see that we're getting more deck lists out there so people can kind of pick up more stuff. And it's so diverse. It's not like a 3-deck format. So it's great right now.
Yeah.
All right. But there's also just like with every Battle Hardened, there's a PTI event associated with it. That one was CC. And we did not see a familiar winner on this one. I don't believe, right? It wasn't an Icelander. I think it was a
I'll be
dash.
honest, I don't know who won that.
I don't remember either.
I
Yeah.
think it was.
Oh, you're gonna have to probably go to the YouTube to look.
I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right now, as we're filming this, there is no articles up. I usually have like on my second monitor all sorts of articles. I did watch the final. I want to say it was Dash Briar finals.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's true because I do remember. I
It
think it
was
was
Dash and
Briar at
Briar,
least
Nova
on the.
Chain,
Okay.
and
Yeah, yeah,
Bun
yeah.
Air on Dash.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to say Bun Air, which also did like got second with Chain, so that guy was on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we saw Dash. We saw Dash get a PTI event. Not the Icelander. There was like 3 in the top 8, but I know his quote was saying that Dash was good into 2 of the top 3 heroes, and so that's why he chose it. And yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Works out.
Dash is terrifying. So yeah, coming with bright lights, it's like it's for a talentless and like very low like on hit effect detriment hero. It's just like she can do some really bonkers things and has like insane play styles too, where you can go tree frog and just like completely just at a certain point you're like, dude, I'm gonna deck out. Just shake hands right now because you're there's no way that you can beat that just pistol. So yeah, so there's the versatility Dash has is insane right now.
Yeah, you never know what type of Dash you're playing against when you like sit across, which is can be frustrating when sideboarding against them.
I've lost a lot to
Yeah,
that.
totally. Yeah, you bring in a bunch of D-reacts or something, you're like, well, this sucks. Throwing sync belows at a pistol.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what happened this last weekend. This was the last weekend for the skirmish season. I'm sure we're going to get some of those stats out in one of these articles coming up. But that is what I'm going to use for my transition to our next topic. Is Br33zy, you gave us the PTIs, or not the PTI, the Pro Tours. What I guess were they PTI?
What was it?
Pro Tour season 3, right?
It was Pro Tour. Yeah.
I was like, you gave us the meta breakdowns for that.
Yeah. Which was wild. I have never really considered myself a meta statistic, deep diver, but they reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I was like, why would I ever say no?
Yeah, that's so cool.
Like, yeah, for sure. I was like, for sure. Like, I would never be like, actually, this isn't really my forte. I don't think I was like, yes, 100%. I will fake it till I make it. I will 100%. So yeah, that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were like really good. Awesome. I mean, yeah, they didn't seem like you faked it at all. It seemed well placed and well thought out. I mean, I remember when these were coming out, especially since the my tournament that I did for this was like on the last week. So of course I was reading these articles, trying to see what the meta was and whatnot, trying to figure out what hero to play. So that's what's going to lead us into this next topic. I'm kind of curious because it's not just that. You also your newest one came out just I guess about a couple months ago, almost now. But exploring the blank space, which I thought was a really cool one. I enjoyed the Flesh and Blood articles. I'm glad Flesh and Blood does this. It's just like they kind of give articles like the in between meta time periods, or even like right before, just kind of giving like opportunities to like inform people on like different ways to play or like the lore or whatnot. It's just good reading material basically. So you've done that. You've done a recap before. How's this happen? How does LSS find you on this? And like, is this something like that you did before Flesh and Blood?
Yeah, it's a very good question, which is no, I had no. So growing up, I guess I was not the most scholarly academic. Like I was big into skateboarding. I was in like a metal band. I was kind of a slack off. But the one thing that my teachers always told me I was like really good at was writing and expressing my, like, whether it be like emotions or my thoughts in written content. And even my wife can attest to that, I think, because there's just too many times they're all like long-winded text things, and it's just like this is simple, like one sentence would have done, but I'm like going into like these. So yeah, it all started with Flesh and Blood. I'd never really written any like fan driven or like hobby driven content before Flesh and Blood, which had started initially with the Rathe Times, actually, which I think that's, yeah, Rathe Times, which is like a, not
Hmm.
associated with LSS or anything. They do similar stuff, deck articles or,
Mm-hmm.
something similar to like that Exploring the Blank Spaces article that I did. They have a lot of content like that.
Oh yeah, they're good.
And I don't remember how I even got connected with them. I think I just had an idea about something. I think it was like an IRA deck or something that I was writing about. I don't remember. And so I did one, and then I did another, and then I did a third. I think I ended up doing 4 articles for them. And LSS at the time had a content writer like manager, and she reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I've seen this article that you wrote about like Briar and her presence in the meta, and I like that you like spoke about Briar in a less like this is how you need to play her, this is who like how you win with her." It was very like open ended. It was more like choose your own path with this hero, and she was like, "We have this pro tour or pro whatever I wrote pro quest pro tour stuff about like metadata. Would you like to do that? Because we need someone who can write like without bias or not
Cool.
telling someone how to play which hero when how to do it." So I was like, sure, yeah, yeah, thank you for finding my article in like a haystack, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's so cool.
that was, so it was just completely random. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's really awesome. Yeah, and it is like you said, it's non-biased, and it does have a good flow to it as well. I enjoy reading just in general. So with the Rake Times, I've read quite a few articles there, um,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's a good flow to it, and I would agree with that. It's just like I didn't, as soon as someone tells me, what hero I should be playing, then it's like, all right.
Yeah, and that was the balance though, because like all they do is give me, especially for that particular thing, was, hey, here's like basically a Google sheet with like hero names and all the like percentages. There's no like, hey, if you could say this or make sure you include this. It was just like, here's this data, here's numbers and names.
Go for it.
You figure it out, like make this cohesive enough to talk about. And what I did was look at past pro tours or pro quests, um, and all that metadata stuff, and was like, okay, Drew Cordell he's a local to me, and he's a buddy, and
I
so
like Drew.
he did the previous ones, and that dude is a crazy writer. Like he's such a good writer. But his was super data driven because he's in the financial world.
That's
He's like a
his,
financial
yeah.
advisor or something. So I remember being like, I don't want to do that. Like I need this to be like as if someone was reading something from their buddy, like that they were just talking about, more casual. And so that was kind of the goal, is to turn like, how do I make numbers fun somehow
Yeah.
without being super boring. So
No,
yeah.
that was cool. That's really cool. Yeah, that's it's kind of what led me to play Icelander for the last week. I was just kind of thinking. I think what it was is that I didn't really feel push one way or the other, and I kind of just wanted to give her the last hurrah because I thought Prism was just gonna come out and just make sure not a thing, which is obviously not the case. But
Mm.
yeah, it was reading these. Like I said, I was on these meta games and just trying to like figure out what I need to do. And I was just reading that. I was like, you know what? The Lexi matchup's bad, but I feel with like across the board, it feels okay. And just seeing the graphs and then like reading your content, it's like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And I gotta imagine a lot of people felt that same way. So that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting because I think I ended up playing in mine on the last week as well. So I felt like I had like a little bit of
Nice.
like the edge, because I would get the data like way before any, obviously I had to write the article, and then the editor would on their end would have to look at it and make any like grammatical changes or whatever. So I'd have all this data, and I'd be like brewing my decks like a week before any, like, okay, cool. So yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna use this information a little selfishly, but I still ended up taking, I think actually I played Dromai, and at the time like no one was really expecting it. So
Nice.
I did decently at the time, I think.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, this is so you have articles. You have articles at Rave Times. You have
Mhm.
articles for Flesh and Blood, but you also have spoilers. And the best way to show
Yeah.
your spoilers is through YouTube. So you got yourself a YouTube channel. Yeah, I'll give you the questions here, Gabe.
Yeah, so YouTube. So I know you're planning on expanding and doing more throughout the YouTube space because I've seen you talk about that on Twitter. I watched most of your
Mhm.
YouTube videos just from them popping up in my feed in the past because those deck techs, and you analyzing
Yeah.
just certain cards like the Rosetta Thorn and so on, blew up and they're awesome. Like, what's your aspirations for like future YouTube videos? Are you gonna stay on the same like kind of deck techs talking about specific Runeblade stuff and moving forward, or what do you got cooking? If you can talk about it at least.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's as you can see since you've seen my YouTube channel, like I make one video like every 3 months or something. Part of that is just due to like work and then having like 8
Mm-hmm.
million kids and all that stuff. Um, and so yeah, there's just like life gets in the way, which is like the oldest excuse ever. But in that time of like not making so much
Mm-hmm.
consistency, I've come to realize that like if I'm going to make maybe maybe 2 to 3 videos a month is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm hoping to start doing, and just have them really well done and
Well, that's what I was gonna
really well
say.
thought out. And yeah, and so like those ones that I have now, I think I had an idea and I was like, cool, I'm just going to do it, and then I did it like off the cuff,
Nice.
um, which I wasn't super in love with, because then I'm always like, oh, I got to edit this thing and I got to do this thing, and I like wasn't in love with it. So I think that's at least rule number one is moving forward is just like have more intentionality
Mm-hmm.
behind like the content that I want to push out. And yeah, I think that just comes with the territory of just finding the time
Mm-hmm.
to do it. But thankfully, that's all up to me. But um,
I mean,
what I
like,
really want to do, which I
yeah.
don't, yeah, go ahead.
No, you got it. I want to hear
Oh, you're good. Okay. Okay. I was
it.
gonna say, yeah, no, I don't. In that time, I've just decided that I don't really want to do like the same things that a lot of like other
Mm-hmm.
people are doing, which I'm not like a hyper successful competitive like flesh and blood player. I think at best I top eight and then I just lose in the top eight for the most part. Um, and so for me to be like, oh, here's this awesome deck
Mm-hmm.
I made, it's like, who am I? Who am I to say that? There's definitely like top four and above people out there with amazing YouTube channels that have really constructed theories
Sure.
around deck plays and stuff. So I'm like, I'll leave that to them. But um, I like the weapon video that I made. I think that was
I
really
thought it was
fun. Like
awesome.
just like analyzing, right? Like just like going through some of the heroes and just saying like what's viable for a
Mm-hmm.
hero. If they were to play this, like what kind of matchups does that look like for them?
Mm-hmm.
And just maybe also helping the more casual slash competitive scene. Like not everyone wants to. Yes, they want to win, but not everyone is going to be the world champion. So
Yeah, people want to play the
99% of
cards.
us are just playing. Yeah, exactly. We're just playing for fun, whether it be at the kitchen table or at our armories. Like I know so many people that literally just play armories and they don't have any aspirations to even play like skirmish
Mm-hmm.
or battle hardens. They just like, hey, my Wednesday nights is like good enough for me. And so appealing to that, which is a much larger crowd, is I think
Definitely.
something that I'm going to approach. And that mixed with, I really want to start doing like a last week in Flesh and Blood. I think they're getting so well at
Yeah.
producing
Mm-hmm.
like media, and they're getting a lot more ahead of like announcements and releases, that it's, and like you mentioned, there's so many competitions at this point. Like it's almost like every weekend there's something to watch or look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so doing like, which that's inspired by, I think it's like Last Week with John Oliver, which is like, I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
Yeah.
It's on
Okay.
HBO,
All right. Yeah.
which is fantastic. And it's very like comedy driven, which I don't know if mine will be as, because he has a room full of writers that, he has to give him a script and say, be funny. But yeah, it's something that's driven in that field where it's like, hey, like every Monday or Tuesday, we can, or if there's some catastrophic like thing, we can
Mm-hmm.
just hop on, but something consistent to look forward to. And then the sprinkling in of like, hey, let's do something fun, like a weapon review or,
I love that.
equipment review or something like that. Yeah.
No, that sounds.
And all that can be driven by my own, time restrictions and things.
I love
So,
that perfectly.
Yep.
I would watch that every week. Like that just sounds up the alley. Because I'm always trying to, even half the videos we do that we try to figure out with air, we try to figure out the current events so we know why things are happening, and all you want to.
yeah,
That'd be sweet.
exactly.
I do
Yeah,
one
and that's what it is. It's like it's so hard to find everything all in one place at all the time because it's
right.
oh, did I see that on Twitter that someone
Or
said they
Facebook, and you're
did
digging
this, or was it on
everywhere.
Facebook or
I mean,
some
we literally
random
were doing
Discord
that in
channel?
this podcast. So
Yeah,
if we
right,
had your
exactly.
video,
Yeah,
we could just reference that.
Easy money.
right.
Plug it
See,
right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We just watched that video. Just the three of us just watched it. Yeah,
Yeah.
podcast. Right?
Sign me up. Oh man. No, I think the other thing I want to say about what I love about your YouTube videos is, like you said, how attention to detail you put into every single one of them. Like you might not post every day or every like week, but the amount of quality that goes into even where you have time-stamped events when certain things are
Oh.
happening in the video, like that's just like one of those cherries on top. When I see those in channels, it makes me excited. And the thumbnails are
Yeah,
always just bomber, a lot of hidden detail.
Thumbnails
So-
is where your game really is. That's
Oh yeah.
really?
oh yeah,
yeah,
your
I love them.
thumbnails
I feel
are
like-
good.
Dude, I make those in Canva, which if you're not familiar with Canva,
Yeah, I don't care, but that's awesome.
it's just straight free, and you just like plug and play. It's
But
so
if it
easy.
works, that's all you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I do as a career, like my job is I work in the marketing department at a company,
Makes
so
sense.
I've been getting into a lot more like video editing because previously I've just been doing a lot of like script writing and things like that.
Cool.
Mhm.
So now that I've got a little bit more editing and video, production under my belt, I feel a little bit more comfortable setting
Okay.
up something for myself. So
Awesome.
yeah,
That'd
I
be
love
fun.
this.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of go like what you kind of mentioned earlier with like okay. I think you're absolutely right. And it's something I've learned through the YouTube channels is that the casual armory player base is the biggest player base.
Mhm.
It's probably
Mhm.
you have the most YouTube views from those guys. And
Mhm.
honestly, it's the most fun videos to make, in my opinion. Just because I am with you. Like it's hard to I have some success, but like whenever like I'm supposed to give out a deck tech video, that am I going to say this is going to win you the pro tour? I mean, who am I to say that? Just like what you were saying.
Mhm.
But what
Mhm.
I found out though is like one of our best deck tech videos, the Levia Berserk video, and then there was
Right.
a
Yeah.
no arrows Riptide video. So people love the
Fun
fun
decks.
things. Yeah.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That's actually something that was another idea that I had because I do love having gameplay on the channel. I just don't, again, to follow suit, I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm going to play this hyper competitive thing. I actually wanted to do like a user or like a watcher submitted deck. Like, hey, like you
Mhm.
submit like the jankiest or goofiest or
That's
whatever
a
you
good
want.
idea.
And I will play like 3 rounds on Talishar with it and just, I won't even look at the list. I'll just plug it in and play and just see what happens. Like it's something like that is like, yes, it's still gameplay, but it's also like the casual fun side. And
Yeah.
maybe it's like, hey, this actually works. Who built this deck? Like, what is this?
With your thumbnail skills too, I bet you could just
It'd be
get
so
a good
good.
banger of a
Have you,
video of that.
Did you ever play Magic a while back when or whenever? Like were you ever like in the Magic
I've
realm?
no,
'Cause
I've
there-
actually just started playing Magic like a month ago.
Wow.
There's a channel, MTG Goldfish. I know Eric has his thoughts on that, but they used to do the almost exact same thing as like these users submitted. Like I forget the word they had it, but they would like do a poll of all the decks they wanted the person to play and throw them his way, and it was the best videos I'd watch every time those came out. So I'd love to see that.
They were pretty
See,
entertaining. I will
That sounds
admit.
awesome. And I'm actually surprised, and probably someone will do it now, but I'm surprised no one has done that with Flesh and Blood.
No.
Yeah,
Just because now with the accessibility of Talishar, it's like, hey, just someone
Right.
send me a deck. I'll just play it right now.
That's
True. That's true. Yeah.
with Twitter
you
and all
got
that, you can
a
do your
good,
polls,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
hmm
Oh man, yeah, I want to see
Sure.
that. I'm excited for that too now. Man, it's getting me all giddy for all these
Yeah.
fun videos we got coming.
Every
Yeah, so
podcast
that's
guest that
in
we've
the
had
pipe.
on has had a great idea for videos, and I'm just like, damn, that channel's gonna blow up.
We're not even thinking over here, man.
Yeah. We make videos, we throw everything at the wall, and we're like, all right, what's stuck?
Does it stick?
But-
No, yeah, let's try again.
Hey, sometimes that's how. Yeah, that's why I've been so like radio silent for a while because I'm like, oh, I gotta make a video. Like that's what pressures me. It's like,
Mm.
I started looking at my timestamp. It's like, oh, it's been like 6 weeks since I uploaded a video. I got to do something. And I'm like, wait, stop. Don't just do something to do it. Like, be intentional. So,
Yeah.
So
I
you
like
just
that.
start throwing ideas. You're like, that's stupid. I hate that. Oh, someone's already doing that. I don't want to do that. It's like, yeah.
Your spoiler video was really good though.
Yeah, your spoiler video was
Considering
killer.
that.
Thanks.
Yeah, that one.
Thank you.
So I'm see. I now that we've gone to spoiler, I have made it my mission to watch every single spoiler video. Just to give credit where credit's due. And so I'll be excited to see what your bright light spoiler video will be. So there's a little pressure there.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know what to do. Yeah, it's because I don't. My wife isn't huge into the game. She'll play like to make me shut up because I'll ask her a bunch. But she was like big into Dash. Like that was like her big deck. So I built her this deck, and it was like crazy strong. And so she would kick my ass with Dash a little bit. And now she's on Lexi, and so now I'm like, okay, I got to get back in like the Dash headspace and like meta stuff,
right?
Because I just haven't played it or like been beaten by it in a while. So yeah.
What's your
We'll see.
What's your hero of choice? Like what's your favorite hero just in general?
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, it's Viserai for sure.
Okay.
But I think just as a whole, like Rune Blades are just my jam. It's kind of why I got into the game, was just the artwork from Viserai. I got in like right when Crucible of War Unlimited, and no, it was like right when Monarch was about to come out.
Okay.
And I was seeing like Chain and stuff. I was like, oh, this is super cool. What is this? Runeblade. And then I saw like, oh, there's a Runeblade before this. And I was like, okay, this dude's awesome. I have to figure out how to play this game. So yeah, Viserai was kind of like my first love, and still is. Yeah, just love.
I mean, look at the shirt, man. You're
which
wearing
I'm still,
it.
Yeah. That's a fun shirt.
Yeah.
I like that shirt.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I am secretly, it's not really secret since I'm saying it, but I am secretly putting like every podcast guest favorite hero on. So you're our second Viserai. So we got two Viserais and two Dashes. So those are seem to be the popular heroes so far.
Good ones.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, some Arcane Rising was a beautiful set.
Yeah, it certainly was. Oh man. Are you going to be at Nationals?
I won't, which sucks. Like I mentioned, I'm in this career now, which I only recently started, I think 3 months. Well, no, closer to 4 months ago. So it was just a little too early for me to be like, hey, by the way, I'm going to be leaving out of town for a few, So, but I'm in Dallas. So the next coming thing is the Battle Hardened in Dallas. So that'll be like the next.
It's a calling. We get a calling in Dallas.
Big one coming up.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. So I'm used to us getting only Battle Hardened, so that's why.
That's true. Forever. Yeah. It's funny because like Dallas was like one of the first like big city scenes of the first callings and whatnot. So
yeah, I think it was I think Austin was like where everyone that participated got like a gold foil tunic or whatever.
Yeah. It's insane. Oh man,
just insane to think about. Yeah.
You know what? I'm kind of mad, man, because I used to live in Dallas, and I've heard about you, but we never played each other. I don't think we've ever even I don't even think we've met before. Yeah. So,
interesting.
Yeah, I know. So it's like, damn, I like missed out on that. But I will too be at the calling. That is where my folks live, so I will have a place to stay. And I love Flesh and Blood, and so yeah, we'll get to see each other. And I will make sure, since you won't be at Nats, I'll make sure to bring a Viserai T-shirt for you.
Oh, dude, amazing! Yes, thank you. Yeah, I've yet to like get on a plane and travel to a Flesh and Blood thing. Well, my daughter's 2, my youngest, and so that's just been like, it's like, how do I leave my wife for like 4 days with this like 1-year-old baby? And now it's like, okay, she's getting to like become a little bit more, humanized and not so much like crybaby all the time. Yeah, it's like, okay, maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance. Yeah. So, yeah.
Cool. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I think that's about covered everything I want to talk about. Is there anything that you want to talk about? Any questions we missed?
I could
Okay,
throw
go
some
for it,
things.
Gabe.
Now that we're here, I've been
Steal the
sitting out over
show.
here.
Yeah.
We're talking about Dallas. We're talking about your player. Like, so in your area of Dallas, like, how is just the play for you? Because I know we've talked to other creators about where their local LGS is and how well it's doing, if it's thriving, if it's
Mhm.
going down. Like, what's that scene looking like for you?
It's solid, man. It's nutty. Like, well, for one, like Brody Spurlock
That was gonna be the next
plays at
one.
all my LGSs. So yeah, yeah, it's and he like literally the most kind opponent ever. I've actually only played against him once because every other time he's at like the top tables and I'm like, 16th place or whatever. But the one time I did play against him, it was like, and I see him doing this in like, on screen in tournaments where like after the game, he's like just so sweet and wants to like talk about plays and like, and so thankfully that's a lot of the player base is everyone's like, hey, like when you did this, like what were you thinking? Oh, okay, no, that makes sense. It's never like, all right, see ya, think good game and like bounce off. There's always like a learning moment, and it seems like the Dallas player base is like really dedicated to just growing and getting better at the game. But yeah, not to say that Brody's the only good player. There's so many. There's like our LGSs are packed, and it's terrifying at times to go there. So, but it's awesome, and it's definitely thriving. There's some shops that are doing better than others, and that's usually just dependent on like price support or how the owners treat the players and stuff. Actually, in Denton, which if you're from the Dallas area,
Yeah.
if you're familiar with where Denton is, which isn't too far, it's a little farther north from where I am, but that shop is like one of the first shops that got Flesh and Blood in the States,
Reaper.
like
Oh, wow.
way back. Reaper,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's called Reaper.
Yep, I've heard of Reaper. Just
Yeah,
at the
Mr.
Vine.
Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mr.
yeah, Bill's
yeah,
such a good dude.
Yeah.
Literally, like every other weekend, I go up there and just to see him and say what's up. But yeah, that dude's still sitting on like alpha cases and all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, he's just like he is nutty. So and so because he's just so deeply invested in the game and he's a collector and a player, he like his price support is crazy. I think it was one of the tournaments recently, whenever Outsiders had just came out, it was like, hey, if you for every game you win with Azalea, you get double prize
Yeah,
packs.
that
So
was
it's just
fun.
like yeah, right. Yeah. So it's like, dude, he's like just wants to support the fun of the game. So that's like in a snapshot, the scene in Dallas is just really fun and but also like insanely hyper competitive too. So
True.
Yeah, that sounds awesome though. Get you ready for that calling. Like, hi.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna be scary. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think that answers my question for that. I don't know if I had anything else cooking in the head. I'm just always excited to talk to new people and new faces,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, this is sweet.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
what else should we know about you? Like, because you have your Twitter and you do the articles and YouTube. Is there anything else you want just people to know that makes you?
Well, I mean, my wife and I, we recently started Rathe Wares, which is a
Mhm.
singles company, which was just mostly rooted out of like I was selling on TCG Player, and it was just like highway robbery. And then I noticed also that the reason why it is highway robbery is because the fees that they take out of your
Unbelievable.
transactions. Right. And I was like, this is what drives the market. It's not necessarily that people want to be charging an arm and a leg. It's that they want to at least like be compensated for something. But in
Yeah.
order to do that, they have to hike up their prices, which then makes it seem like this market is inflated when in reality it's just like, the third parties that are,
Mhm.
taking their cut. So that's kind of what it was rooted out of. I was like, I really want to not have to give someone else some of the money so that way we can charge less for our singles for
Right.
staples and things that people need or want. So, and again, in order to meet our time commitments for that, we are only open like Friday and Saturday. So as opposed to Monday through Monday, we're having to like keep up with orders and like, oh, we haven't
Yeah.
shipped this order out, it's getting delayed. So that helps us maintain focus on it. So again, it's like a super side project, like almost wanting to like keep its entity away from me as much as I can in a sense,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it's probably stupid. Like I should probably use some of the
Dude, it's
recognition
growing
that I've gotten at
huge.
least.
Like, because it was a little while back. I heard it was on Twitter somewhere. I just saw someone reading about this place that sells every Friday, and you get crazy good deals. I'm like, oh, I wonder what that is. So my buddy tells me about it. I'm kind of listening.
I'm
Next
literally
Friday comes
signing up
around.
right now.
Preston, Preston comes up, or I think it's Preston. It's one of my friends. They're like, "Hey, like this is what it is. Check it out." I looked it up. Super sick. Like you said, everything was just the way you explained it too on the page. Like we're giving back to the community, trying to start this up, and then I just been following it since. I think it's the coolest thing. And I love how it is just a Friday and Saturday thing because it builds anticipation and hype, and it kind of like
Yeah.
it gives you something to look forward to that week to see what's going to be in the shop, what kind of play mats you have cooking, what kind of cards, and then
Countdown
there's always a
timer
lot
is
of
Yeah.
really
engagement,
good.
which I love. No, it's
Yeah,
awesome, man.
that's it. That's what we wanted, and it's like got to be sustainable for us, but at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, like, so because of that, you're not going to see like another amazing human is Fluke. Like he's got his singles shop. What that dude is like, he found a gold mine earlier in his life, and so he's able to invest, a lot heavier into his business in that way. Whereas we keep it a little bit more casual. So some weeks you might see like we have like fables and EAs and
Yep.
like crazy stuff, and then other weeks it's like, hey, we might just have like your basic staple majestics where maybe it's perfect for skirmish season with that deck you're brewing. You might find your this rounds on me for like $4 less than you normally
Which
would
is
have or
sweet.
whatever. So yeah, so that's kind of the whole theory behind it is, just keep coming back and see. We might not have anything this week, but maybe next
I
week.
think it's
And
just
so
fun to
that's
look.
kind of
It's like opening a gift.
right.
Like, what do you got going there today?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
even if I
exactly.
don't buy
That was the
anything, I
whole
look.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thematically, we wanted to treat it like a pop-up shop
Mm-hmm.
that like, hey, we're out. Let's go check it out. Oh, cool. We're browsing. That's cool. And then sometimes you find something in like the checkout lane. You're like, I do need a couple of these.
Like,
Let
I
me just go ahead and
guess
snag
throw it in there.
it. Right. Yeah. How do I say no?
Oh
Yeah,
man,
exactly.
yeah. No, even you had
Yeah.
what was it red foil unmovables the other week, which was like a great deal, like $1 thing. I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I've had like foil snatches up for a while. We've
Mm-hmm.
had like so many like foil playables where it's like someone will need them. We won't push them or anything. We won't like they'll just stay there until someone needs them and they find them. And yeah, so little things like that just
Well,
keep people
little
like
things
kind of
like
digging.
the presentation you have for it, that little card that comes with it, the way you just have
Mm,
it just looks very eloquent. Is that the word? It looks very
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. And that's all my wife's touch. Like every
Nice.
order comes with like a handwritten like
Mm-hmm.
card and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, she's very like aesthetic. Like it has to be professional, it has to look good, it has to look like we give a shit. Like it has to look like we care. So yeah, so which we do. So yeah, that's the difference, I
Yeah.
guess. And that was the other thing from TCG players. Like you just get like, I hope it doesn't come bent. Like I hope that things
Oh
show up
God,
and
right?
so I don't know how many times I've gotten like, cards with no like top loader. They're just in a
Just nothing,
sleeve
just hanging out.
and and yeah, just like, dude, how did this get here to me without it being shredded in half? So that was the other thing. Is like we got to be like respectful of these things that people are buying, and
Hmm.
so give them the full face value of everything.
I
So
love that. I love this so
that's the
much.
that's the only thing that I would say, and it's hardly a plug. It's more so just saying like
Well,
that's kind of what we've been
it's
up
it's
to.
something you
That's
do. I
dope.
love it. Like that's
I didn't
not
even know
something I
that was in
blanked, but I
there.
totally blanked about it because I thought of that earlier. When I'm like, yeah, we're talking to Breeze. We're going to bring this up. So, I'm scrolling through Twitter. I see that, and then I sit down. Just go the lights.
That's good. It's
Uh,
totally fun. Yeah, no.
yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah,
Well, a true mom and pop shop from a mom and pop themselves. I like it.
that's right.
Cool. Well, yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you chit chatting about everything under the flesh and blood sun. We got a lot of a lot of flesh and blood to look forward to every week, man. Every week there's something coming up, so it's
Oh
been
yeah.
cool there. And
Hmm.
then like after nationals, it's like right into bright lights. It's insane how fast this is going. It seem like bright lights is like coming out sooner than like normal.
Quick.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like we were waiting for like outsiders for forever, and then
Yeah.
now we're two sets past it
Right?
somehow.
No, big
All right.
time.
Yeah,
All right. I'm gonna get into a. See, I got myself in the conversation again, but I'm
there
curious
you go.
about this. I'm curious about this. Okay, Flesh and Blood does this thing where it's like every winter season, it kind of slows down, and it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be that break for the players, or at least that's what it's perceived as. Um, I'm kind of curious, like, what do you think of that, as far as your take into it, Breezy?
I think it's good. I think it's healthy to have those breaks. And like because like I mentioned, I've never really played Magic, but my perception of it is always like, how do people keep up
Oh,
with it?
dude, Magic is
Oh, your
Where it's
something
like
wallet
else right now.
screams.
Yeah,
you blink, like one
every
set
two
comes out
weeks,
and
I
they're
swear.
already
Yeah,
telling you about the next one. Yeah. And so I think it's really good, and I hope that it's something that Flesh and Blood maintains, is like,
Hmm.
which it seems like they are. James White's even mentioned like we aim to have like these quarterly releases, or X amount of core or like main sets with this expansions or supplementals sprinkled in, which I feel like is really good. And it also opens up the reasoning to play casual formats like UPF and
true.
hopefully PVE when that comes out too, where it's like, oh, I'd love to play UPF tonight, but I got to train practice
Right.
for this, every weekend. There can't be like a thing to just, drain yourself out on. So I think it's healthy, at least coming from me, because I'm not super hyper competitive. But people like Brody Spurlock might be like, what do I
Yeah,
do? How do
Birdie.
I like what?
I
How do
guarantee
no
Oh.
gold foils to win this week. Come on, dude.
it. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's always something going on. It's just might not be like LSS sponsored, because like usually like
Yeah.
there's some like probably Rum Gaming's going to do some stuff and one. So there's always like a
Mhm.
little
Mm.
something. But I'm with you. I really like how fast Bright Lights is coming, because it seems fast, but
Speed
I
of
think
light,
in the
baby.
grand scheme of things, it's like kind of like that perfect time period where it's like
Hmm.
um probably by the time Bright Lights come out, we'll probably be towards the end of being like, we've seen the meta from I don't even know what was this last set.
Dust till dawn.
Dust Till Dawn.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah. We've seen what that is. So I don't know. I'm stoked how fast it's going, but like you said, I do want that break. I want that break so
Yeah.
I can say hi to my non-fab friends. I can play video games and I can do
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, is like I love video games too. So it's like I feel guilty when I get trapped in like a 3-day loop of like, I'm gonna play video games tonight, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I haven't played Flesh and Blood in like a week. I suck. I'm gonna lose every game. I might as well stop playing. I don't even want to. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, for sure, for sure.
All right. If people listening want to find more about you, Br33zy, where can we find you? Give us all the places so we can hunt you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Breezy on Twitter. So 2 3s, no E's. I don't know why. Don't ask. I just
It's
the
Lee.
E's were taken. Actually, I think Chris Brown took the actual
Ah,
Breezy.
damn, Chris
Classic.
Brown.
Yeah. So if y'all want to go slide in his DMs and try to get him to give that up, that'd be great. Otherwise, it's just Breezy with 2 3s on Twitter, and then same on YouTube. And those, yeah, keep an eye on YouTube, because, like I mentioned, like we were talking about, there'll be some more fun things in the pipeline
Hell yeah.
very, very soon there. Yeah.
Cool.
I have a small, I'm on Instagram, but it's very little, but you can search Breezy on there too.
We're also gonna put in that Rathe wears.
Oh yeah, Rathe wears too. That's
like,
another beautiful.
that. I wish I knew about this sooner. This seems so much fun. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Take 2. Here we go. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. And I appreciate to all of those that watch. I appreciate that. We are going to continue getting guests here, and we, as in me and Gabe, are going to continue improving, talking to our guests, being less awkward, trying to figure things out. But until then, keep on fabbing.